Hello, everyone, and welcome to another What If one shot. Well, not really one shot, let's be honest, probably just going to be a full series. This time, what if Deku had a warp quirk? Now, I'm going to be honest, I'm still basing this off of Van Auger from One Piece and his warp fruit abilities. Only because I just finished One Piece and I've always loved teleportation. Anyway, less yap. Chuck us a like if you like this and check out my other content down below in the description and drop some comments. Enough said, let's get into what if Deku had a warp quirk. Deku as a kid would be devious, always doing something sketchy, sneaking into places, taking things off the teacher's desk, sneaking around the house undetected. To him, it was a game, a strange game he played by himself and that no one really understood. This is until Deku turned the age of 4. Deku shot downstairs, meeting Inko in the kitchen before straight away asking to get his quirk checked out. Inko laughs at how excited he was, promising to get it checked out after breakfast. They ate and Deku almost choked on his food before they got into the car and drove to the hospital. This time, one in the city, more well known for the quirk research. So no Dr. Ujiko. They make it inside, walking inside and sitting down. Well, Miss Midoriya, what are the quirks of you and your boy's father? Inko would answer, her quirk, telling him about her telekinesis and his dad's fire breathing. The doctor looks at Deku before looking at his notebook. Well, Miss Midoriya, it seems your child here is a special case. See, when a kid is usually born, they inherit one of their parents' quirks or a mix of the two. Inko nods, as does Deku. Well, it seems Deku here has a mutation of that, his quirk being completely different from used to. It seems he has a teleportation quirk, a good one at that. Deku's excited. He had a teleportation quirk? That's like the best superpower. Immediately he's excited, thinking of in his head of his room, not even blinking or anything. Straight away warping there. To Inko and the doctor, he just vanished from thin air, completely disappearing into nothingness in front of them. Inko would pass out in shock, the doctor and nurse fanning her as she woke up. Deku sitting right next to her. Mum, I unlocked my quirk. See? He puts his hand on her before she can even react, they're back at home, sitting on the couch, the TV playing and the news on, with a big bucket of popcorn in front of them. The doctors back at the office are pissed because Inko didn't pay her visitation fee. Inko's more confused at this point. She sits down Deku and tells him to explain it to her, slowly, which Deku does. As she was passed out, he teleported back to the office, getting the doctor to explain his quirk to him. He has the power to think of any place he's ever seen, and he could instantly teleport there, being able to bring others there as he saw a minute ago. She's shocked. When did he? He's already gotten so good with it. She asks if he's feeling any strain from it. Deku shakes his head, not even the slightest. From there, Deku would stay home for the rest of the day, just messing around with this, going from room to room in his house and seeing how many times he could teleport, which was seemingly infinite. He was never strained by it. From there, Deku would sleep the night before going to school the next morning, super excited to tell the others about his quirk. He walks into the door, seeing all the kids huddled around something else instead. Confused, Deku climbs onto the top of a table, looking inside to see Bakura flaring his quirk, little sparks flickering off his hands. Deku's eyes lit up. Whoa, Bakura, you unlocked your quirk too? Bakura looks up at Deku, who in his excitement misplaced his foot, the desk beginning to come tumbling down. Bakura looks on as Deku falls, putting both hands in front of him to stop the impact before he's upright again. Everyone looks around. Where did Deku even go? Deku, a little disoriented, would do the same, being right next to Bakugo. Oh hey Bakugo, what's your quirk? It looks cool. The class locks onto him, super confused on what happened. Bakugo speaking up for them. Whoa Deku, what was that? Do you have some type of teleportation quirk? Deku nods his head quickly. Yeah, see? He begins teleporting around the room, from desk to desk, empty seat to empty seat, and then back again. Bakugo is impressed by this. Loki thinking Deku has a cooler quirk than him. Class would then start, them being told to chill on the quirk usage. They would do so, sitting down and listening until lunch would arrive. Deku and Bakugo would instantly rush outside, Bakugo having started a race between the two of them. Deku teleporting onto the finish line straight away would look back at him and wave. During lunch, they would chat, Deku explaining his quirk to Bakugo and teleporting Bakugo with him, even taking him back to the house for a little lunch before they come back. They sit and eat before Deku teleports them back home. Bakugo just thinking this was the coolest thing ever. Their friendship starting properly right there. Due to his quirk, Inko and Deku's life would be so much easier. No cars, no traffic. Deku can teleport anywhere, borderline in the world. If they want to go shopping, he just has to have been there once. Deku sees his own. Deku uses his quirk on his mum, teleporting her to work and stuff during the day, and in return, he's able to skip lunches and teleport home. Something Deku takes more than advantage of. Him and Bakugo over the years use that time to train in nearby a forest area. Deku teleporting them there every lunch and teleporting them back every day at the end of recess. For years they would do this. Deku and Bakugo figuring out some extra things with their quirks and being a lot stronger than in canon. Deku and Bakugo would make their way on the final day of school, both being a little different than in canon. Bakugo being a little bit more humble due to Deku's strength, and Deku being a little bit more confident due to his strength. During this time, growing up and training, he would have figured out a secondary part of his quirk, an almost sixth sense. If he focuses hard enough, he can see attacks coming and teleport off of instinct, though it fatigues him heavily every time it's used. He'll be sitting in class as the teacher comes in, holding a stack of papers. It's about time you think about your futures and eventual career paths. The entire class groans hearing this, until the teacher throws the papers in the air. I know you all want to be heroes. Everyone starts using their quirk. Random things like stretching their neck and making small crystals. Deku and Bakugo sit back in the back class, completely silent, only grinning. It seems we have two of our very own trying out for the national school, Deku and Bakugo. The class turns to look at them, murmurs spreading around the class. Yeah, they'll make it. You see how strong they are? Deku acts nonchalant, Loki listening in. Bakugo lets it get to his head. Don't love me in with these extras. Me and Deku will be number 1 and number 2. You can bet your lives on that. Everyone gets mad until the bell rings, them picking up their stuff and dipping. Deku would dap Bakugo up and begin walking away. He wanted to try a new donut shop in town, and Loki was feeling a run. It was his last day after all. He runs on a dirt path, rushing under a tunnel as sounds are heard from behind him. A small metal clink. Deku slows down, catching his breath before putting his hands on his knees. He hears the sound but thinks nothing of it. About to take off once again before something grabs him from behind and drags him in. The sludge villain. Give me your body, kid. I didn't know he was in town. Deku, who is mid-breath, would begin suffocating instantly. Straight away, he teleports out of the tent, out of the villain about 10 meters behind the sludge villain, where he instantly coughs up a mass of sludge from his lungs. Gross! You're gonna pay for that, asshole. The sludge villain looks back. What the hell? Deku walks towards him. The sludge villain shooting a tendril at him before Deku disappears completely. Where did he go? The villain looks around, looking backwards before suddenly his landscape would change. Clouds? Deku, who was currently grabbing onto the villain, would have teleported into the air, 100 meters up. They both fall, the villain breaking into smaller and smaller pieces as he rockets towards the floor. He pleads with Deku for a second chance as they get closer and closer. He closes his eyes. All Might on the other side of the bridge looks on as a boy holding a small bit of sludge with his eyes in his hands. Where did he come from? All Might coughs a little before straightening his back and rushing forward. I am here. He looks at the kid and the villain he was holding. All Might was shocked. He'd already taken care of it? Deku geeks out. He was still a nerd, getting his autograph and taking a selfie before he asks a strange question. Can I take you to meet my friend? All Might's confused. Take me? Deku puts his hand on All Might before he can even think they're teleported to Bakugo's residence. In Bakugo's room, Deku kicks the back of Bakugo's chair as he spins, annoyed. What do you want? He sees a towering figure standing in front of him with Deku next to him, a huge grin on his face. He kinda geeks out too, asking him for his autograph on his card, if you know, you know, before All Might asks what happened. Deku explains his quirk to him, All Might even more impressed now. He can teleport stuff and others, and at this accuracy, before something hits him, the villain. They didn't capture it properly. Deku's eyes widen as All Might says this. Bakugo confused before Deku touches both of them, pause, and they teleport back. The villain having left a trail of sludge going towards the city. Not good. They both freak out, explaining to Bakugo what's up as Bakugo begins to cough up blood. Double not good. All Might suggests they split up and look for him, Deku agreeing as they straightaway teleports into the city. Bakugo rushes off as All Might jumps into the same building as in canon, noticing the sludge villain almost instantly and detaining him. Deku and Bakugo, not knowing this, would continue on anyways. All Might untransforming and actually seeing them both in the city, still looking after the still looking for the sludge villain. Deku discreetly teleporting in, looking around and teleporting out. He was kind of proud seeing the two. You know, they were very high potential prospects. During the 10-month training period, Deku and Bakugo were legit trained non-stop, training in the same spot as when they were kids, teleporting in every morning and teleporting out every lunch, and then teleporting in once again. A constant cycle of training for both of them until they further unlock their quirks. Both of them also physically get stronger than in canon due to this, being able to legit just teleport into the gym whenever they wanted. Deku would be focusing on teleporting in combat, using it to slip last second and counter before they can react. Something that's different. Something that's difficult with Bakugo because he can read him well. A win-win for both of them. The 10 months will finish up. Deku looking at the progress they had made. The two of them stand proud and they look over their training site. In their heads, they knew they were ready for UA. Please like and subscribe, and also check out my podcast in the description, and drop a